If you've ever felt dizzy or if you've ever treated someone with chronic dizziness, you know the world can feel like a really chaotic spinning place. But what if the problem isn't just in our eyes or our ears? What if it's in the entire brain? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty groundbreaking new theory that's redefining a common and often debilitating condition. Now listen to this, because this isn't just a description of feeling a little off balance. This is a description of total sensory overload. It's what patients with a condition called persistent postural perceptual dizziness, or PPPD for short, tell their doctors about every single day. It's a feeling like your entire world has been turned up to 11. And for the longest time, this has been a total mystery in medicine. Why is it that patients who come in complaining about dizziness also feel like their entire sensory system is just under assault? It's this puzzle that's left both patients and doctors scrambling for answers. Okay, so for years, the way we've thought about this has been honestly pretty narrow. The standard theory was that after some kind of inner ear thing, the brain just gets way too reliant on your vision and becomes hypervigilant about balance. And all those other complaints, the sounds, the smells, we kind of just chalk them up to being side effects, or maybe just a symptom of really high anxiety. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if the visual dizziness and the balance problems are just the most obvious symptoms of a much deeper, more fundamental issue with how the brain is processing, well, everything? That's the question that really changes the game. So this exact question is what led a group of researchers to launch a totally new kind of investigation. They wanted to go beyond just hearing these stories of sensory overload and see if they could actually find some hard, measurable data to back it all up. And this right here really shows you the huge shift in thinking they were proposing. You have the old, narrow view focused only on vision and balance, and then you have their new hypothesis, which was super bold, that PPPD is a pansensory condition. It's not an eye and ear problem, it's a whole brain problem. And here's the thing, they weren't just looking for some vague connection. They set out to prove two really specific things. First, that a real link exists between dizziness and all the other senses. And second, and this is so important, that this link wasn't just a side effect of something like anxiety or migraines. They believed it was a core feature of the condition itself. And the way they tested this was just brilliant, so clever. They used a standard questionnaire about sensory experiences, but, and this is the secret sauce, they took out every single question that had anything to do with vision or balance. So think about it. This meant that if they found any link to dizziness, it had to be coming from the other senses, from touch, sound, smell, and taste. All right, so with their plan in place, they started digging. And what they began to uncover was this trail of shocking clues that would end up challenging everything we thought we knew about chronic dizziness. Okay, clue number one, it was a bullseye. When they compared the PPPD patients to the control group, the results were crystal clear. The patient group was way more sensitive and avoidant across all the other senses. That tag on their shirt, the hum of the fridge, it was all genuinely, measurably more intense for them. I mean, that first finding was huge, a big confirmation. But the real bombshell, the thing that blew everything wide open, came when they took their model and applied it to over 1,100 people from the general population. What they found was staggering. 50%. Just let that number sink in for a second. 50%. It's a single figure that represents a massive shift in how we understand this condition. So what does that even mean? Well, get this. They could explain half of the reasons why someone gets dizzy in a busy place like a supermarket without ever asking a single question about their balance or their reaction to movement. The explanation was hidden in how sensitive they were to sound, touch, and smell. And here's how it all breaks down. That 50% was made up of these four things. General multisensory processing, discomfort from just looking at busy patterns, some vision issues, and anxiety. And look at that biggest piece of the pie. That was all about sensitivity to things that we thought had absolutely nothing to do with being dizzy. Okay, so the first thing you're probably thinking is, isn't this all just anxiety, right? We know anxious people can be more sensitive, so maybe the sensory stuff is just a byproduct of that? Well, the researchers were way ahead of you on that one. And that's where they uncovered their second major clue. The answer was a resounding no. While it's true that being more sensitive can make you more anxious, which can then make dizziness worse, their stats showed a powerful, direct link between sensory sensitivity and PPP that was totally independent of anxiety. The bottom line,
The sensory stuff is a primary feature, not just a side effect.
Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got the link to all the senses, you've got that huge 50% number, and you've got the fact that it's not just anxiety. With all these clues on the table, a brand new, way more complete theory of dizziness starts to take shape.
And this new theory, it basically works in 3 steps. Step 1, the predisposition. You've got someone whose brain is just already wired to be a bit more sensitive to everything coming in. Step 2, the trigger. Then something happens, an inner ear infection, a head bump, something throws the balance system off. And step 3, the result. That trigger event causes the already sensitive brain to just lock into this state of high alert and weird compensation. And that final locked-in state, well, that's what we call PPPD.
So here's the absolute game changer in all this. That feeling of sensory overload, it isn't some weird side effect of being dizzy. No, it's the underlying vulnerability that was there all along. The inner ear injury just pulled back the curtain and revealed a sensitivity that the brain was already dealing with.
And look, getting your head around this new model isn't just some boring academic thing. This has huge real-world implications for how we treat millions of people, and just as important, for how those people understand what's happening to them.
I mean, think about it. For so many patients who have been told for years, it's just anxiety or it's all in your head, this is massive. This research gives them solid, objective proof that validates everything they've been feeling. It says, no, you're not imagining it. Your entire sensory system is genuinely on high alert. And of course, this completely changes the game for treatment. First off, just validating what a patient is going through, that itself becomes a powerful part of the therapy. It means clinicians now have to ask about everything, from loud noises to strong smells. It also lets us reframe anxiety not as the cause, but as a totally understandable, rational response to living in a world that feels like it's constantly attacking your senses. And it opens the door for brand new therapies that go way beyond balance exercises. So when you boil it all down, this is the big takeaway. We are shifting away from seeing this as just a problem with the eyes and ears, and we're starting to see it for what it is, an issue of the overloaded brain, a brain that's just struggling to filter the entire sensory world.
You know, this whole discovery is just such a powerful reminder. It really makes you stop and ask a much bigger and maybe more humbling question. If we got something this common wrong for so long, what other fundamental things about the brain might we need to completely rethink?